This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com, and on the line I have the legendary wrestler, booker, manager, Kevin Sullivan, who's going to be managing the Blood Hunter on the PCW Ultra show next Friday night, January 10th, just outside of LA in Wilmington, California. PCWUltra.com has all the information. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well, Hannibal, but this Blood Hunter, I spent a lot of years, and I've seen the crazies in the business. I've seen the Sheik, Mark Lewin, the Purple Haze, Curtis Iakea, but I've never seen one that had the wrestling ability that the Blood Hunter has. These guys were crazy and out of the box. The Blood Hunter's crazy out of the box, but he has an intricate knowledge of professional and amateur wrestling, kickboxing, judo, boxing. This guy happens to be, in my mind, the most dangerous man in wrestling today. He's right up there with me. And it's going to be a pleasure for me to march down the aisle and see the destruction of an old ally of mine, Sabu.
And speaking of Ming, the Blood Hunter actually beat Ming last October, and he beat Juventud Guerrera recently, another guy that used to work for you in WCW. But you mentioned he's wrestling Sabu. I recently read Sabu's book because I'm doing a shoot interview with Sabu next week while I'm out there covering this event. It's the big anniversary show for PCW Ultra. Ricky Banderas is also there, Killer Cross, the Contra unit, all these great stars. But I know you're going to be against Sabu next Friday night. But you want to tell us a little bit about your history with Sabu?
I either had Sabu's first match or second match. I worked for his uncle, the Sheik, for 6 of the best weeks I ever had in my life. I learned so much from the Sheik, and so did Sabu. And Sabu took the Sheik's violence to a different level. What they talk about homicidal maniac he is. But the unfortunate thing is, for Sabu, we all have our time, and Sabu's time is going to be over when he wrestles the biggest, baddest man he's ever been in the ring with, the Blood Hunter. You see, Sabu is as great as he is. He's never faced a man like this, who is as dangerous and crazy as he is, but has a better all-around martial arts background than Sabu. I want to see the end of Sabu because Sabu did turn on me, turned his back, and I'll be happy to see the Blood Hunter wipe the mat from him on PCW anniversary show.
Now, for fans that haven't heard of PCW, listen to this interview, hearing about this company for the first time, it's probably the most popular company in California as far as actual live attendance for a non-WWE company. You've been a vital part of the beginnings of PCW Ultra. Now it's become a mega show, very good production values, and they're using top names in the business. What do you think the keys to success have been to developing this company?
Organizational skills. The promoter there has some of the smartest organizational skills I've ever seen. He picked out the right building. He handles the publicity as well as WWE does. He brings in the best talent I mean, he's bringing in the Blood Hunter. I mean, he's not the only one. I mean, Cross, we could go down the line, RVD, Johnny Mundo. I could keep going down the line of the people they brought in. And every show is a top-notch show. They draw, sellouts almost all the time, but they give the people what they want, and they only bring in guys that are wrestlers, not guys that don't look like wrestlers. They bring in top-notch wrestlers.
And you mentioned Mark Lewin earlier. I know you stay in contact with him. He's actually been one of my requested people for a shoot interview. All these wrestling fans are constantly asking me about how Mark Lewin's doing. How is he doing these days?
He's doing well. He's in Singapore this time of year. He's doing well. I talk to him occasionally. He's married into the royal family there, so Mark has nothing to worry about.
So he's an actual royal now.
Yeah, he's a royal. His wife's a royal. I don't know if they give him that tip of the hat, but he may.
The last thing I'll ask you about here, because I'm going to go into more details on subjects, of course, in our third shoot interview, which I'm doing with you next week. But AEW, I talked to you last year at Cauliflower Alley briefly about it. It was up in the air at that point of what their product was actually going to be like. I'm sure you've seen some of their product and the direction that they've been going in so far. What do you think of the company so far?
I think they've done a remarkable job. I mean, they came out and Vince tried to put up a roadblock against them by putting NXT against them. It looks like they are now the number one in Wednesday nights. I happen to think they're doing a very good job, and I think the Blood Hunter would be a perfect guy there. I think that Blood Hunter is somebody that they need. They need somebody big, impressive, and half insane.
And to close this off, any message for Sabu if he happens to be listening to this, or I guess he's got a manager now. I don't know much about her. She calls herself the Genie or something. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to shut her down on the outside pretty easily.
I'm going to shut her down, but Sabu, I'm going to take great pleasure in seeing you from the beginning of your career, the first match to the last match. Sabu, adios, my friend.